Hi Mark, I'm Sophia. Today I'm going to read this article, America's Hamburger Helper. McDonald's give new meaning to "We do it all for you" by investing in people and their neighborhoods. When the smoke cleared after mobs burned through South Central Los Angeles in April, hundreds of businesses, many of them black-owned, had been destroyed. Yet not a single McDonald's restaurant had been torched. Within hours after a curfew was lifted, all South Central's golden arches were back up and running, feeding firefighters, police and National Guard troops as well as burned-out citizens. The St. Thomas Aquinas Elementary School, with 300 hungry students and no utilities, called for lunches and got them free, with delivery to boot. For Edward H. Rinsey, president and CEO of McDonald's USA, the explanation of what happened or didn't happen in South Central Los Angeles was simple. Our business there were owned by African American entrepreneurs who hired African American managers, who hired African American employees, who served everybody in the community, whether they be Korean, African American, or Caucasian. The $90 billion a year company has often been the target of those who disparage everything from its entry-level wage structure to the authentic blight of its cookie cutter proliferation. But the Los Angeles experience was vindication of enlightened social policies begun more than 3 decades ago. The late great Cork, a crusty but imaginative salesman who forged the chain in 1955, insisted that both franchise buyers and company executives get involved in community affairs. If you are going to take money out of a community, give something back, Cork enjoined. It's only good business. As a result, McDonald's stands out not only as one of the more socially responsible companies in America, but also as one of the nation's few truly effective social engineers. Both its franchise operators, who own 83% of all McDonald's restaurants, and company officials sit on boards of local and national minority service organizations, allowing the company to claim that its total involvement in everything from the Urban League and the NAACP to the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce may constitute the biggest volunteer program of any business in the nation. Because their original prosperity came from Hamburger stands in middle-class suburbs, McDonald's managers were at first reluctant to move into inner-city markets, but company executives say their first tentative steps in the 70s showed those fears to be unfounded. The policy practice in the suburbs, which indicate that McDonald's stores reflect the communities in which they operate, was applied to the new urban markets. As a result, near 70% of McDonald's restaurants management and 25% of the company's executives are monitored and women, and are about half its corporate department heads. This year, McDonald's will nearly double its purchases from companies that are more minority or female-owned. For last year's $157 to $300 million. Several of the biggest are owned and operated by former McDonald's managers or franchise holders. The spawning ground for many of the new ideas and programs designed to integrate the franchises into neighborhoods in which they operate has been company's moral and intellectual back center, Hamburger University, set in its own 80-acre nature preserve near Oak Brook, Illinois. Since 1979, the company has held affirmative action seminars for its executives and managers there, as well as in many of the company's 40 regional offices, on such topics as how to manage the changing workforce and handle career development for women, blacks, and Hispanics. Each year, 3,000 employees complete affirmative action training programs that last 1.5 to 3 days. Ideas originated at headquarters and by individual franchises have led to programs such as Mac Jobs, which tax on mentally and physically impaired employees, and McBride, which keeps students in school and rewards them for academic achievement while they work. Through a program devised by its store owners, the company has helped establish 153 Ronald McDonald houses named for the chain's trademark clone, where families of seriously ill children can stay while the children is undergoing extensive medical treatment, such as chemotherapy or bone marrow transplants. Each house serves an average of 50 families who pay from $5 to $50 a night if they can afford it. The local projects are supported by local funds drives, and all the money collected goes directly to the houses. McDonald's pays all administrative costs of the program, which extends to Canada, France, Germany, Holland, Australia, and New Zealand. But McDonald's broadest impact has been through its basic job training system. It's a 8,800 United States restaurants. There are an additional 3,600 overseas from Beijing to Belgrade. Train American youth of every ethnicity. Sending a kid to the army used to be the standard way to teach kids values, discipline, respect for authority, to be a member of a team, get to work on time, brush your teeth, comb your hair, clean your fingernails, said Edward Ramsey. Now somehow McDonald's has become the new entry-level job training institution in America. We find ourselves doing things in that role that we would never imagine we would do. Among them, paying kids to study, rewarding them for staying in school, hiring physically and mentally handicapped youngsters and adults, and giving sensitive sensitivity training to co-workers in a program called McMasters. Older people usually retreat and hire to work alongside young crew members to give the workplace a sense of family and to set an example of caring, courtesy, and responsibility. In conjunction with the vocational rehabilitation service of several states, nearly 7,000 disabled and handicapped people have been trained to function as full McDonald's employees by job coaches drawn from within the company. Before these less fortunate employees take their places, company trainers often put young able-bodied workers in blindfolds, gloves, or dark glasses to demonstrate the kind of handicaps their new colleagues have to deal with in doing the same jobs. The Pat Newberry's McDonald's restaurant in Renton, Wash. Some young employees earn an hour's pay not for flipping burgers but for starting an hour before their work shift begins. In a Chicago area restaurant, Hispanic teenagers are being tutored in English. In Tulsa, a McDonald's crew is studying algebra after work. At a Honolulu restaurant, student workers get an extra hour pay to study for an hour after closing. In Colorado, Virginia, and Massachusetts, there are stay-in-school programs offering bonus money for employees who receive good grades. Reading improvement classes frequently take place at restaurants in Kansas and New Jersey. Despite the initial skepticism of educators, McDonald's programs have managed to allay the fears of many that work and school could not mix. In February, the National Association of Secondary School Principals passed a resolution commending the company for its exemplary and motivational effort to support education, student and assistant principals. Bob Charles, the owner of a McDonald's in Boulder, has seen some of his employed at-risk students begin to get A's after joining his McBride program, which limited them to a 40-hour work week and pays bonuses for improvement and school attendance. Many of them have a very low level of self-esteem, says Charles, but once they come to work as a part of a team and gain a sense of confidence, you will almost never believe the change in these kids. Mark Brunstein's company owns 30 restaurants in Orange County, California, and hires elderly and handicapped workers aggressively. There are people who need work, and we need people to work. You wonder why everybody makes a big deal about it. Serge Bernstein. Besides, the seniors and the special kids in our stores create a sense of humanity. Honest Jonna Kaufman has 26 handicapped people, many with Down syndrome, on the payroll in his 12 Long Island stores. One of them, Joe King, trains new employees Kaufman says the key to his success with the disabled is to try not to treat them differently. McDonald's has used Braille and its own kind of sign language as ads for impaired employees. At McDonald's Oak Brook headquarters, staff workers are taught from specialized schools such as Gallaudet University and the Rochester Institute for Technology, which has an educational center for the deaf. Senior Vice President Robert H. Beavers, Jr., who gave up plans to become an electrical engineer 90 years ago to stay with McDonald's, says the company's social-minded business practices have made the company stronger. Our engineer, our engineer, our energy level, and our understanding of market today are much better because of the cultural diversity we have. He points out that in the inner city where he grew up, they say if you talk the talk, you better walk the walk. In Los Angeles, they talk and the walked and they didn't burn. So Ramsey and his team intend to keep on keeping on. After all, it's only good business. If you are going to take money out of a community, give something back.